So,
Hi, Megan.
hi, Julie. So, what was your job during the 2010 Olympics?
So during the 2010 Olympics, I worked for U.S. Figure Skating. So my job was a little bit different because I was not credentialed by the USOC or by the LSE. So I was supporting the U.S. figure skating team outside of the village. So what I did was, right near the figure skating rink, our venue, we rented a house and we rented a school, and they were about right across the street from the venue. And so I helped manage both the house and the school. So we set up the school we had like this big multi-purpose room, and we made it into our office and our headquarters for U.S. figure skating. And so we had a lounge area with TVs and couches. We had an office area. We had a skate sharpening area. We had kind of a informational area where we had newspapers and information and stuff like that, and then we had like coffee and snacks and things like that. And so we just had it open every day, all day, and all of our entire team, athletes, coaches, families, officials, alumni, everybody could stop by there, and that was like our one central point of location. And then we also had what we called a safe house, and so we rented this big huge house right near the school, and we used it for our secondary coaches. We used it for our U.S. figure skating staff, and then we also, in a couple instances, had athletes stay there. And so I just helped, make sure it was clean, did the laundry, made sure, opened it up, made sure everything was working, and that was it.
So, how long did that take to set up?
So that in itself probably took, I think we got there about maybe 5 days before practices started for the figure skaters. And so that probably, because we went to IKEA and we purchased furniture for the lounge and things like that. So I would say probably about 5 days. But prior to all that, we had already started trying to secure those places to rent years in advance. So I would say about 2 years we started looking, and we took several trips up there to determine what we wanted to do. And we probably signed the official contract, I would say probably this summer of 2009.
Okay. So how many times were you in Vancouver prior to the Olympics?
There you go. So I think I went 3 times. I went 2 years out for an advanced site visit. I went again about 9 months out, and I actually went by myself that time, and I specifically looked at this house and this school. And then I went again in the fall of 2009, so 3 times.
What are the athletes that you helped? Was it just figure skating, or was it athletes from other sports too?
Yep. So in this particular instance, because I was working for U.S. figure skating, I only worked with figure skaters.
Okay. Did you run into any challenges, and how did you deal with that?
Yes, lots of them. Let's see. So a really good story that I have is so Evan Lysacek, who ended up winning to go on and win the gold in the men's singles discipline. So he actually came over to our safe house one night because he wanted to spend the night there and just kind of get away from the village and how busy it is there. And so we were at the house, he and I, and we were having dinner, and he got a phone call from the U.S. Anti-Doping Agency saying that he was going to be drug tested in about an hour, and he needed to get back to the village. So all the athletes get drug tested all the time, and you have to be there, or you could potentially be disqualified. And so we knew that it was going to take us at least an hour, if not more, to get back to the village. So we were in a definite panic, and Evan jumped into the van, and I drove the van, and we got him back to the village as soon as we could, and he got there in time. And thank goodness we did, because that was actually before he skated. So thank goodness we got him back in time so that he could go on and win his medal. What other challenges? So one of the biggest things that's different about the Olympics is that because of security and because of just how massive and how many people are there, the access is different. And so, you know, if I'm an athlete, I'm used to maybe seeing my friends and family or my coaches and stuff like all the time, and being able to access them in the rink and all these different things, and being able to see them at the hotel. Well, because the athletes live in a village during the Olympics, it's totally different, and that's like a locked down area. So if you don't have the special credential, you can't get in there. And so friends and family and sometimes personal coaches just, you can't get to them. And the same thing at the venue, you have to have a ticket to get to where you need to go and stuff. So it gets a little challenging. So a good example of this is, so Meryl Davis and Charlie White, who are our ice dance team, they won a silver in Vancouver, but they're very used to seeing their moms every day before the competition. And in fact, Meryl's mom helped her do her hair for every performance and stuff. So it was, okay, how are we going to make sure that that's something that those athletes are used to? How do we make sure that we make that happen? And so our office space across the street from the venue was a great place for them to meet, because we knew who they were, obviously, and so they didn't need special access or anything to get to the athletes. So every time Meryl and Charlie practiced or competed during the Vancouver Games, they would meet up at the office first, a couple hours before, with their families. Meryl's mom would help her with her hair, all those things. And so it just, you know, that was a great solution to that challenge.
So even like after the events, the skaters couldn't really access like their parents and their family that was there?
They only can access them outside of those access boundaries. So because even when figure skating's done, then speed skating and curling and hockey and skiing and all those continue throughout the rest of the games. And so the access and the security lockdowns are in place throughout the entire games. And so even when a figure skater's done, they now can, you know, go out to the streets of Vancouver and to downtown and sightsee and those things with their families, but the families still cannot easily access the village or the venue without a ticket or a special pass.
Okay. So what has been your favorite Olympic moment in Vancouver?
In Vancouver? I would probably say that when Evan won his gold medal, that was pretty cool. So because I didn't have a credential, and like what I just said about access, it was very hard to get other people into the games or into the venue. So, and we didn't have tickets for me or anything. So I watched Evan's gold medal performance. I was not in the rink. I was actually downtown in a restaurant with two of my other coworkers, because none of us had access, and so we were actually watching his performance on TV just like the rest of the world. And I think we were in a room full of Canadians, and it was just me and my other two colleagues, and we were so excited. We were jumping around and cheering when he won his gold, and we were so very excited, and he was super excited, you know, and we could tell that all of our coworkers that were there in the venue were excited. And then what generally happens after an athlete wins a medal is that night we have a big medal party for them at the USA House. And so hi, no worries. So we have a big party for them at the USA House. And so then that was one of the things that I got to help with, because I was working closely with friends and family and access and stuff. So I got to help plan Evan's medal party at the USA House that night. So that was really cool. And then I would say I also got to, that was the very first games that I got to attend the opening ceremony. So of course you probably know that the tickets for opening ceremony are very hard to come by and very expensive. Well, I was very, very fortunate, and U.S. Figure Skating had an extra ticket. And so my friend Liz and I, we had 2 extra tickets. My friend Liz and I, at the last second, they said, "Julie, do you want this?" And I said, "Absolutely." So I met up with Liz, and we got on the train, and we got down to the venue for opening, and it was a truly incredible experience, and it was one of my favorites just because I'd never been to I'd been to so many games before, and I'd never been to opening. And then during opening, probably one of the coolest parts of opening was when a singer named Katie Lang, she sang Alleluia, and she's a
Mhm.
fantastic singer. And she was up really, like, this big, huge arena. She was up high on this, like, stage thing, and they
Mhm.
shut down all the lights, and everyone in their seats had this little, like, flashlight. It, like,
Mhm.
looked like a candle. And so that's what it was like. And then she sang this beautiful song. It was really, really cool. That was probably
Cool.
one of my coolest
So
moments.
is that the moment that kind of stuck with you the most from the Olympics?
Yep, from those games.
And so, since 2010, what have you done?
So after 2010, I stayed at figure skating for about another year and a half, no, another year. And I switched my roles there a little bit. I actually ended up working on our documentary called Rise. So I worked on that for a little bit, and then I got hired at the USOC, which is where I am now, and I got hired in sport performance. And so now I've been here for 4 years now, and I work with all the different sports, trying to figure out how to maximize our medal count for future Olympic Games. And then when the games are all around, we also get games assignments. So I worked the London Games and the Sochi Games. I worked in games transportation inside the village, and helped coordinate transportation for Team USA in the village.
Okay. Thanks, Julie.
Thank you.